Welcome to Bull TV, where we are bullish on Collierville. I'm your host, David Pickler. Bull TV is a monthly show that empowers, educates, and entertains while highlighting the citizens of Collierville who inspire and deliver solutions for a stronger community. Bull TV is presented by Pickler Companies and is proudly produced by the students of Collierville High School. We invite you to watch our show at www.bulltv.show, thebullnetwork.com, and CHS-TV-19. New episodes air on the second Sunday of every month at 3 p.m. Central Time. On today's show, we sit down with Lee Mansberg, President and CEO of Junior Achievement of Memphis and the Mid-South. Join us for this inside look at how this award-winning educator is truly a superwoman when it comes to developing our children to be engaged members of our community. Stay tuned as we discuss our next generation of entrepreneurs and how Junior Achievement empowers through education and mentorship. Today I'm joined by Lee Mansberg. Lee is President and CEO of Junior Achievement of Memphis and the Mid-South, a nonprofit dedicated to educating students about entrepreneurship, work readiness, and financial literacy through hands-on programs for K-12 students across a 25-county area. She is the nonprofit's first ever educator to lead the organization. With more than 25 years of experience in educational leadership and human capital growth, Lee is an award-winning educator. She has served in teaching and leadership roles at Shelby County Schools and St. Mary's Episcopal School, where she was chair of the English department and assistant head of school. Prior to joining Junior Achievement, Lee served as Chief Operating Officer of the Epicenter, the region's entrepreneurial hub. Before that, she served as Chief Operating Officer at Bridge Capital. Recently named a superwoman in business by the Memphis Business Journal, Lee is a problem solver, an innovator, and a lifelong learner dedicated to inclusion, equity, and fun. Lee is married to Danny, and together they have two children, Emma and Ramey, and their first grandchild is on the way soon. Lee, thanks for joining us on Bull Talk.
Thank you so much for having me, David. I really appreciate it.
We're glad to have you. Now, if you've ever watched any of our shows, then you may know that we begin by getting to know you a little bit, and we always start with, in 3 words, who is Lee Mansberg?
Oh, I love that question, and so much of my intro gave it away a bit. Lee Mansberg, if she's talking about herself in the third person, I feel like an episode of Seinfeld a little bit, is an innovator, an educator, and an entrepreneur.
Love it.
More different levels on any given day.
Okay, that works. So let's play off that, especially the educator part, because clearly you are an educator at heart, and you've certainly led a variety of programs all throughout the Mid-South. So tell us a little bit about your journey and how you became an educator to start with, and then most recently how you moved through that to end up in your current role as President of Junior Achievement.
Oh, sure. So I always knew I wanted to be a teacher. I was that kid in her dad's law office, like in the supply closet, hoarding, not stealing supplies, to force my siblings into like the classrooms that I would run. So I always knew I wanted to be an educator, and moved my way through public education, private education. As I was teaching and running schools, both at St. Mary's, I loved the business of education and how you could build revenue streams in education so that you could do more good and create more experiences. And as I moved into that, I became really curious, started a master's in business, and kind of said, I'm going to leave education for a little while and figure out how to really grow revenue streams for nonprofits. I had a real curiosity about it because a nonprofit wants to make money, we just don't get to keep it. And we we get to invest it back into our work. And so I became really curious about the economy of the region and really wanted to answer the question and felt that our children didn't understand the economy. So they never really understood the why of their education. And I felt really strongly if they could take their education and find a place within it, within the economy, they'd then start choosing careers that they would like. So when the job came open at Junior Achievement, I'd kind of been skill building myself. I'd gone to work in the private sector at Bridge Capital to learn how companies were bought, built, sold, to meet the bankers that have invested in Memphis. Then I went into Epicenter to build businesses for adults and children and throughout the community. And I was like, well, if everything Epicenter is doing is so amazing, why don't I bring it down to the children so that we could have more people bank ready, more entrepreneurs, more children excited for their careers, not their jobs, their careers. And if I could do all of that, I think Junior Achievement's the landing ground for that. So that's what we did, and that's what the board agreed to do.
Wow.
Scary.
That's a great journey. But it sounds like to me that you've also been very intentional about your career and some of the choices that you've made all along the way.
You know, I have been. Some of them easier than others, some really scary because, you know, when you work in a school for 20 years, like I did at St. Mary's, it's a big leap to leave a community. But I get really curious about this region, the people of Collierville, the people of Memphis and the region that I get to meet. And there's so many exciting things going on. And if we can just explain that to all the children, I think they'll get equally as excited. So that's what Junior Achievement is doing.
Well, you keep giving me these wonderful segues. Talk about that excitement. So tell me, what is it that inspires you most in life?
Oh, you know, seeing children get excited for their future. We were working with a young man who was building light switches. And on its surface, it's just a nice mechanical electrical piece to build a light switch, but with education, we had a long conversation about after 10 years and you become a master, how you buy your own company and start to build your own company, and that when you hire your first employee, that makes you an entrepreneur. And then when you hire several employees, you have a thriving business, and then you have something to create generational wealth so that your daughters and sons can come to work for you and your grandsons and granddaughters. And essentially, I believe fundamentally at the base of any human's dream is the ability to give a business to the next generation and to feel like you've left a legacy, big or small. Who doesn't want that?
It's got to be an amazing experience to see that spark, you know, when it just begins to generate in a child's eyes, and they begin to maybe get the beginnings of what could be a great dream.
It's the best. Sometimes we can call it a dream, we can rework that dream into the word hope. You know, and if we can plant seeds for hope for a future that's not our own, we might just like the future we all make. So that spark that you talk about is my favorite. I
love it. You know, the work that Junior Achievement does, it's really talking about empowering children to be world ready and engaged members of their community. In your opinion, what does it mean, or what does that term mean, to be world ready?
It's a great question. Everybody, and it's something that we really dig around. On my first day at Junior Achievement, for 8 hours, the staff and I sat down and we wrote that. Every child world ready, and we committed to that as our vision. And we really believe it's ready for what's next. So what's ready for you when you were a child, what's next, what that meant for you to be world ready was unique to you. And we have to see each child as a world in and of to themselves to help that child get to what's next, rather than believing it's one size fits all. It's about every child living a life of choice, being excited for what's next, and the adults saying, let me listen, let me mentor you and hear you so I can get you on a path for you. And then I think we'll start to see more success for more children.
That's fantastic, because you know, when you talk about world ready and the way you describe it, we really do live in a world of constant change. And in fact, I remember years ago that I saw a presentation, and it was called Shift Happens. And
gotta be careful with that one.
We have to be very careful with that one, don't we? But we do live in a world that's constantly changing.
We do.
I know typically about this time of year they produce a report that talks about the children who are in their freshman year of college. You know, what the world looked like when they were born, and the technological changes we've seen since then. Pretty amazing.
It's really amazing. And I don't know about you, but the way I grew up is that we were surrounded by, like, what are you going to be when you grow up? Name it and be it. And with a swiftly changing planet, we need to make sure that children need to love what they love to do. Like, what is it that you like? I like words. And there were a million things. I mean, I'm very glad I was a teacher, but no one really opened a world up to me about what my love for words could do beyond being an English teacher.
Okay.
And so that took some courage at age, when I was 48 and left education, it took some courage to say, oh, I might be something more than an English teacher or a person who runs a school, which are all wonderful. But, you know, Prufrock asked us, do we dare disturb the universe? And we disturb the universe with our skills, with what we love to do, and believing we can take them into many different places to do different things.
Wow, it's amazing. So being in the business of education and mentorship, then you're clearly surrounded by children every day.
Yep.
And clearly this makes you a great role model or a natural role model. How has this impacted you, and what advice can you give when it comes to inspiring children to follow their dreams?
You know, that's a really important question. I think it is about removing yourself as a mentor and as a volunteer. You have to remove yourself. We all go into it with the right heart and with a righteous heart. But we have to take ourselves out of the center of it and put that child into the center and really come from a place where we drop judgment at the door, where we see that child's lived experiences as an asset and not tend to see the children we're serving as broken and a thing for us to be fixed, but rather as a child, as an asset to this world. How do I listen carefully to what drives that child, to what gives that child hope, and how can I inconvenience myself? This is going to be, if I'm going to mentor really well, it's going to be really uncomfortable for me and not for the child I'm mentoring.
Right.
And especially remembering that so many of the children, we don't have the right to re-traumatize the children we serve. So we need to make sure we do our homework as mentors and volunteers to say, do I know the neighborhood where I'm serving? Do I understand what makes this neighborhood iconic and what the people who live here celebrate in this neighborhood, so that when I come to a child from this community, I am lifting them up rather than on accident and with the best intentions, not remembering their lived experiences and celebrating that.
Wow, that's so important, because it really gives you the opportunity to be authentic.
That's right.
And genuine, because it's the old line of people don't care what you know until they know that you care.
That's right.
And if you take the time to invest in really getting to know that child, and work with the child on their terms in the language that they're comfortable with, then you can truly empower those dreams.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Great stuff. You know, you talk about junior achievement and the volunteer-driven mentorship that you guys offer, and you're doing that to students really day after day. Talk about your volunteers and how can the viewers of our show here, how can they get involved by being a mentor and a volunteer with Junior Achievement?
Please, yes. So we served over 15,000 students last year, deploying 453 volunteers to do that.
Wow.
And so on average, it's about a 20-to-1 ratio. We believe, and well, we actually know we already have over 22,000 students signed up for this coming year.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
What a wonderful problem.
It is a wonderful problem with a wait list of 3,000 students for some programs. So what we need volunteers. We need you, and it's inconvenient because we need you during the workday. And so what leaders like yourself and people that own businesses, I need you to say it's okay to close your businesses for the day. And as an organization say, yes, we're going to go over to Terra Oaks and run a JA in a day so that it can be possible and they can meet all of us. So it really is going to take company leaders saying, we're going to have to pay it forward. If we need the workforce of our future, we're going to have to stop for a day. And I know it's going to cost us money. My husband works on commission too. And I make him stop. He is our chief volunteer. We're going to have to make him stop and say, it's really going to be okay because you're going to find new employees. You're going to find a workforce that's excited for you, but it's going to take us a lot of years to get there, and we're willing to sacrifice that. So it's not only your time, it's your inconvenience, and it's financially. And then we need you to give these kids jobs and give them work and lived experiences. I mean, this show is such an amazing example of a community investing in youth, making a hands-on learning experience possible so that this communications is ready for the future.
Oh,
It's
totally
amazing.
Agree. It's all about preparing our children, preparing students, for college, for career, for the entire world is changing.
That's
Because we
right.
know the world is changing so very rapidly. I think that they said that 69% of the most in-demand jobs over the next 10 years have not even been created yet.
That's correct.
And so it is about becoming that lifelong learner and about being excited about what that future can bring for them. So, well, that's great stuff. And so we definitely encourage everybody to take a moment, to be inconvenienced a little bit, to make a difference in the life of a child. That's amazing. So you've already talked about the fact that you have a wait list. So it sounds like you have a wonderful problem. But how can parents connect their students with your organization? Or how can schools get connected to, in partnering with Junior Achievement?
Please go to jamemphis.org and click program.
Okay.
That's what we do. But for parents, they are our greatest advocates. So it is about parents. Please email me to come for a tour of our new building, see what we're doing. But when parents become excited, please go to your principals and say, listen, let's make this happen. This is how we onboard so many schools. There are so many elementaries and middle in Collierville that we would love to welcome to our programs. And we are a button away. We do say, please get signed up now. People are really excited about our new building, and it only can hold 120 students a day. So first come, first serve. So please get signed up so that we can get them on the calendar, because we don't like to turn people away.
Well, I've noticed that the two core areas of mentorship that you really are focused on and deliver are in financial literacy and work readiness. And clearly this is the passion that we both share in these areas. So discuss, if you would, the impact that Junior Achievement is having in these two areas.
Oh, the impact is incredible that we're having in these areas, because we consider financial literacy that foundation, because you can have a career you love and just lose everything because your financial literacy skills, and this covers all levels of income. We know that there are students and parents everywhere with too many credit cards, and they aren't even asking what's the interest rate on that credit card. They're not paying attention to those emails they get where they missed a payment and their interest rate just popped. And this is everywhere. Doesn't matter where you go. So this is a lifelong skill that everybody needs a brush up on. But it is this work readiness and this workforce that drives us every day, because there is so much potential in this community. And so we are aligning our work with the needs of the chambers of Collierville, the chambers of the Greater Memphis Chamber, and we are making sure that our children are understanding what's coming and what's next. And so we are running amazing middle school, particularly middle school. Our goal is to launch children into high school knowing why they want to go to high school, and to know that it is a marathon and not a sprint. It is perfectly okay. Please get all the certifications you can in high school. 2-year schools are waiting for you. Trade schools are waiting. Associate's degrees are waiting, and you can go back and then get that 4-year degree. It's a marathon. We have created this incredibly false narrative that if you don't go to college for 4 years, something's wrong. And there's nothing wrong. There's just nothing wrong. We need to destigmatize the fact that it's okay to love what you do and to go about it in many different ways.
Well, that's the second time you talked about loving what you do, creating that spark, because it is a marathon, and I would hate to live a life hating what I did every day, and we have done a horrible job in education over the past many decades of stigmatizing vocational education, technical education, and that is the future of the world. Well over 2/3 of the most in-demand jobs over the next 10 years will not require that 4-year diploma, but they will require some additional certifications, some additional training. And a school like Collierville High School, right here, is such a phenomenal example. There's over 20 different careers that are taught here in this school, and giving these students the opportunity, just like in this program right here. These great kids who are helping run this show, and really running this show. So it's an amazing thing.
Listen, I'm all in. I'm a big fan. That STEMnasium here is, I'm a bit of a robotics geek. And so when I saw, wait, you put a STEMnasium next door to like the gymnasium and the auditorium, that's intentional and cool and inspirational so that there's a place for everybody.
You know, you talked about financial literacy being really kind of at the core of everything. And I've always believed that one of the most core elements of financial literacy is about helping to empower students to make effective decisions. You know, really about honing that decision-making skill. You know, what are the programs that y'all have within JA to really address those issues, helping students become better decision makers as they go forward?
That is in every program K through 12 that we embed that empowerment. It's all about empowerment. Your decisions empower your future. We start with kindergarten with our JA in a Day and JA Our Neighbors, which there's a layer of not only financial literacy and careers in this elementary work, but also citizenship, because you can't divorce financial literacy from a role that we all play in creating a better citizenry, because we all pay taxes, and those taxes are for the greater good, to create our just and equitable society and to run our government. And they need to understand that. So our elementary programs do that really well. Then we get to our iconic JA BizTown, which is getting a brand new home and new sponsors, and it's super exciting. And BizTown now has a new big sister called JA Finance Park, where we teach the 12 budget drivers of a personal budget.
Love it.
And oh, it's really, really cool. So they work with their teachers and they learn transportation, the effect of transportation, education, clothing, housing, educating, entertaining the family and its impact. Then they come to the new building and they are given a job and a family and children. All families only get one income. They're given 2 paychecks and they have to use all 12 drivers, and they are not allowed to live on debt. And they get a 5-hour simulation to pass this. Sometimes there's tears. It is real world. Like you just can't. You can't buy things. You can't spend what you don't have, which is the #1 lesson. Then that grows up into our high school programs where we offer community-based partnerships in personal finance. We offer a semester course in personal finance. We had over 5,000 children. We offer 10 business courses for high school. We had over 5,000 children enrolled in our business courses this year.
You know, it's a shame that you're not more excited about what you do.
I'm really excited about, I like that it comes across because I'm really excited about what we're building.
That's awesome. So this may be a hard one for you. What would you say is the most important thing that Junior Achievement delivers for its students?
Oh, hope. Because what is all of this? So we have a really devastating piece of data that we're working with. We had 18 children go through our 8th grade Inspire Career Exploration, which is hands down the best career fair on the planet, because it's all, we call it hands-on, minds open. There's no pamphlets. It is a party where they're learning CPR, they're doing surgery. It's amazing. But the children then, we survey everything we do. 1,800 children took the survey, and all of them said they learned careers they'd never heard about. They thought it was super exciting. Only 4 out of those 10 children believe that this community will make those careers available to them.
Wow, that's heartbreaking.
It is. So we have a responsibility as adults to say that we will open these pathways, we will open these pipelines. So I said earlier, Bishop Oscar Romero said we plant seeds for a future not our own. I really believe that that is hope. And we can give everybody the skills, but if they feel like there's no hope to place those skills, to place those certifications, to have faith in us as community leaders. So I spend a lot of my time making sure that we change hope to belief.
Nothing more powerful than hope and belief, especially bring it together. Well, you have teased us a little bit about this new facility that's coming soon. So from what you're telling me, it's really going to enable innovative and expanded programming. So tell us a little bit about Junior Achievement's new home and why it was important for the organization for it to be strategically placed at the center of Memphis.
Great question. So we loved our home down on Madison, and I love that you've seen it before, so thank you very much for coming to visit it. But when when I took the position 3 years ago, I met with the board and I said, I don't think this building can meet our program needs. It had an enormous upstairs that was not going to allow us to adapt it to grow the program. And I'm always in the mode of continuous growth. And so I said, I think we should sell this building. And the board agreed. And I said, and I think we need to be I think we need to view ourselves as economic developers. And economic development means placing your work that geography matters. And so, and the downtown area certainly is a geography that matters, but there's not many children. Downtown Elementary is the key was our neighbor across the street, but I really became kind of fixated on this center of the core because we serve 25 counties. So I needed us to be someplace that with easy access to our 12 counties to the east of us, that we serve in Tennessee, which is great. We're right on Sam Cooper Boulevard. We're 40 miles door to door to Blue Oval City now. Not that I've counted. But the community of Binghamton has been so warm and welcoming to us. There are children who, out of curiosity, ride their bikes up to the building and want to come in for hard hat tours. That's what we're supposed to be doing. There are schools, from your time serving the schools, you know how close East and Kingsbury and all these charter networks and all of our partners in Collierville can get to us in no time. Like it took me 12 minutes once I was on the expressway just buzzing around to get here. So geography matters, people matter, being able to listen to the people that we serve really matters. So the new building is the Susan and Robert Wang Experiential Learning Center. It has so many new programs that we're launching. FedEx, Startup Park by FedEx is one, where we will be showing businesses from baby businesses and how they grow. We will Feed Your Soul Cafe. We'll highlight all of these amazing food-based entrepreneurs that have built the Memphis food scene, things that are exciting and people that are on the edge and on the cusp and daring to dream of a new food scene. So it's pretty cutting edge. There's so many displays. We have a new philanthropy storefront because we believe every child should see themselves as a philanthropist regardless of income, because we shift communities by investing in our communities of our time, talent, and treasure. And we have JA Our Neighbors, which is really going to be about literacy and how we celebrate a community in our neighborhood. And our first role as economic developers is to fix our own neighborhoods.
Right.
And for a child to say, there's a problem in my community. I went to JA and I know how to fix it. And that's what we will teach.
I tell you what, again, you're creating that spark.
That's what we're here for.
That's what you're here for. So you talked a little bit about that heartbreaking story earlier. What has been the most challenging aspect of your career so far?
Well, everybody's saying we navigated the pandemic, but we navigated the pandemic. I'm really fortunate that in my earlier teaching career at St. Mary's, I was on the front line of helping the school when they created hybrid learning. We started virtual learning experiences 2008, 2009. And so I understood the challenges of buy-in. I understood the challenges of content, curriculum, and my background as an educator has always been in curriculum design. So one of the greatest challenge was pivoting immediately. We have an amazing education team, amazing. And we took every single thing we did and made it virtual immediately. We invented television shows. We had a studio. We hired a Mrs. Rogers for our elementary children. And in the pandemic, we had never done that. We served over almost 12,000 children, all virtually, with all brand new materials. So that's that entrepreneurial piece. When we started the program with my 3 words, that's where my entrepreneurship chops really kind of kicked in, because I'm a dog with a bone. Like, I'm going to fight to win. I'm not going to wait for the world to say, oh, everything will be okay. I wasn't raised that way. I was raised fight and make it and just fight. Fight, get up and fight for what you love and what you believe in. And so that was a challenge to shift on that. We have the most amazing board ever, and they just have a lot of out of this world ideas, and they find the funding, they find the emotional support for me to just say, run, Lee, and so we do.
Love it. So what would be the best career advice that you could impart to our viewers?
Ooh, that's a big one. The best career advice is that dare to dream. And dare to dream that if you're bored, don't get bored. Being bored in a job is death. Like, wake up, want a challenge every day, be unapologetic about offering ideas in your workplace. And if you can't find that your ideas, believe in your ideas. And if they can't find a home where you are, be patient, but dare to dream that your ideas have another space.
Right.
And go find somebody to listen.
Love it. Now, there's no question, looking over your resume, you are an incredibly active member of a number of different civic organizations. Talk to us, if you would, a little bit about the importance of community engagement.
I believe, and I was raised in a household that if I'm not for myself, who will be for me? If I am not for others, who will be for them? I was taught that. I was raised in the lessons of our parents to do that. And so I have skills that a lot of people spend a lot of time making sure I have. So I feel that I have a responsibility for community engagement, to not feel like the community needs to fight against each other, but to lift each other up and leverage one another. Really things that are about children. I'm a big supporter of early childhood. I love serving on the board of First Aid. I believe that I think we can change our society if every child has beautiful, brilliant early education. And I believe in facing history. I think that my own background and coming from history and experiences inform us all, and we need to have the courage to have hard conversations so that we can serve one another with integrity and be kind to each other. It all starts with kindness.
Absolutely. Well, I could not agree with you more about everything, especially about the issue of early childhood. I'm honored to serve on the board of Porter Leith. And,
we love Porter Leith.
And again, love any time that you can take a program that you can help those children before kindergarten, develop those skills so they're prepared to learn. So much of the time that really is the differentiator between children who can have that opportunity to succeed and those who really struggle, is having that early childhood. And so the great programs there. Well, there's no question, Lee, that you are a truly inspiring leader. And as we mentioned in the intro, you are recently named as a superwoman in business. And so since you are seen, and I think it's true, that you are a hero in our city, then how has this little bit of notoriety impacted your life?
Well, people are always shocked to learn that I'm an introvert. It's so lovely. And notoriety is a terrifying word to me. It's a terrifying word to me. It is an honor to have these things because it helps me do the work for junior achievement. It helps get the message of the work that we're doing. And I feel that I am called to serve in this time that coming out of the pandemic, it's a scary world right now. The world shifted. You've spent your lifetime serving in education as well. And the world shifted and everybody's still kind of trying to understand it. So as much as these awards and these beautiful recognitions help me become an advocate for the community, I have a lot of support systems that'll hold me up. I feel that it's my responsibility to take, and to gather these amazing super women that join me in this. I loved meeting them, and say, oh wait, we can do more together. So anything that can help me build a better network where we can lean on one another is really good. But this little introvert, like my daughter's like, Mother, you've got to put the cape on. You got to do it. Because, I have one daughter who is a massive extrovert, and she came that night. She's like, come on, you can do it. Like, she was just cheerleading me because I'm always like, that's when I get my awkward smile going on.
There we go. Well, so what would you say, with all the amazing things that you've been involved in and all the incredible projects that you've been a part of, what do you think has been the proudest moment or maybe moments for your life?
Well, it's always my family, because I'm so blessed with my children and an amazing husband who stands behind all my crazy ideas all the time and literally does fill in whenever a volunteer doesn't show. Wells Fargo Advisors knows that I'll be calling on a regular basis. So I'm so proud that I have this family that is a real cheerleader, and women need this, that, I have their support for whatever I want to do, go big or go home. And they're all kind of right there, even when it means, I'm not sometimes there for dinner. And he's just remarkable. And professionally, professionally, I'm just so excited about this new building. Like, it's just, I built some amazing in partnership at St. Mary's, but this building it makes me so happy. I'm such a goofball about it. I go every day and I see so much potential for the gifts to the community and how we can leverage it, that I want everybody to love it as much as I do. And so my husband's like, Lee, not everybody's gonna love something as much as you do. And you can't look at them with that, like, you're crazy look for not believing in your vision. So I'm really excited about this new home. And personally, just in my community engagement work, I serve as president of Temple Israel right now, and love my faith journey and love my faith community, and being able to be a part of that work means a lot to me as well.
That's fantastic. What individual would you say has had the greatest impact on your life?
Well, you know, it would have to be my daddy. He raised three really remarkable daughters. I'm going to call myself remarkable for a hot second, only because I have two sisters who will say they're by far more remarkable. But
you're giving them the notoriety.
But my big sister's an author, and she's really good in an interview and a camera, and she's comfortable there. But he just really, you know, growing up in the 70s, he never took any excuses for daughters or women. We were taught to be fearless. You know, we're all pretty petite little people, but he taught us to feel like we were the biggest people in the room. Mm-hmm. You know, he would teach us lessons like, you're always going to be around men that are bigger, taller, stronger than you. Don't let them think they are. Right? Like, you can do whatever you want to be, you can be whatever you want to be. And so we've all kind of been fearless, and he loves, you know, I talk to him every afternoon, and I'll get off of this show and he'll say, what was he asking? When am I going to see it? Send me the link. And, you know, he's always curious about what we're doing, and he's been a pretty fearless champion about that.
That is fantastic. One of my favorite questions. Here we are filming this episode here in this wonderful Collierville High School, this great new building. What message would you have in terms of leadership for the students at Collierville High School?
Oh, I really hope they're appreciating these resources. Like, take every advantage of everything. There's so many inspirational programs here, and I think this is a place where you can almost be whatever you want to be, and it's going to be celebrated and lifted. Mm-hmm. So be it. Like, just be unapologetic. Say what you want. Own your space. And I think this school can pretty much make it happen.
Well, you certainly have some great people who are in the school that can really make it happen.
Mm-hmm,
they really
do.
Empower those dreams. So, Lee, when you look back in many years and you reflect on your career, what would you hope would be your legacy?
You know, I really hope, you brought it up earlier, lifelong learners. Lifelong learning comes in a lot of different methods. But I want children and adults to believe their story's never finished. Mm-hmm. Your story's never finished. You can be whatever you want, whenever you want to be it. And so that's what I want people to believe, that I will always fight for them, mm-hmm. that I don't believe your story's finished. I think there's another chapter for you and for me too. I don't know what it is yet, and I'm not scared about that. And I hope that the children and the adults who are watching aren't scared about a next chapter, mm-hmm. and they don't look at it with dread, but rather with excitement.
Fantastic. Lee, I want to thank you. You've been, first of all, I'm going to tell your sister, I don't know how good she is, but you've been awesome.
Thank you.
But again, thanks for joining us here on Bull TV and sharing your story with our viewers. You know, the passion that you have for education and for developing our children into the leaders is really nothing short of incredible and inspiring. The way that you have led junior achievement and this core group of volunteers, it really promotes positivity and a future success in our global economy. And this is amazing stuff. So thank you for your servant heart, igniting the spark in our children and really helping them become America's future leaders.
Thank you so much for having me.
The great American statesperson, legislator, and diplomat Barbara Jordan correctly stated that education remains the key to both economic and political empowerment. Economic education is extremely important because it is vital to the future health of our nation's economy. The purpose of economic education is to create responsible citizens and effective decision makers. I have often believed that the future of our republic would be largely dependent on our ability to prepare our children for engaged citizenship and global competitiveness. Organizations such as Junior Achievement play an incredibly important role in preparing young people for engagement in our rapidly evolving global economy. As a society, we are failing our future generations by not demanding that all our educational institutions incorporate financial education and learning lessons from kindergarten all the way through high school. Financial illiteracy is a national epidemic. The result of our failure to adequately empower and prepare our students can be a lifetime of financial distress. Bankruptcies, divorce, and even suicide can find their root causes in the failure to develop even the most basic understandings of how our economy functions. The most basic level of financial education will empower students to be more effective decision makers, whether as to their choice of career or the discipline to appropriately use credit. If it is our goal for America to remain the preeminent economic power in the world, we must make the conscious decision to invest in preparing our children to develop the tools necessary to engage, survive, and thrive in our economy. Thank you, Lee Mansburg and Junior Achievement, for the difference you are making for the future of our nation. May God bless the work you are doing to change our world, one empowered child at a time. And that is my 2 cents. Until next time, I'm your host, David Pickler. Thank you for watching Bull TV, where together we deliver solutions for a stronger community.